So, sitting in the car, I just packed up. I just finished at the field here, and I'm not sure how to deal with exactly what happened here. And I know I'm being a little over dramatic here, but I'm literally having a physical reaction. I thought it was just going to be another day of shooting disc videos, and I think maybe it wasn't. I think maybe it's more significant than that. At any rate, here's the video.
Hello again, Beardos. Welcome back to the channel. You know, I really enjoyed doing the plastic comparison I did of the Innova Gorgon a little while back. So I thought I would do something similar, but with a different manufacturer. And the manufacturer I chose is Axiom. And I'm actually kind of doing double duty with this video today because in addition to doing the plastic comparison, I'm really curious how the different plastics fly. I also want to know, why am I not throwing a Crave? MVP is really well known for their plastic. They do manufacture for other brands as well. One of the big reasons why is because of the quality of their plastic and the variety as well. And I have 7 different plastics in the Crave today. I've got a Total Eclipse Crave that I got at the Space Race. I've got a regular Eclipse Crave, the special edition. I've got a Fission Crave. I've got a Neutron. I've got the R2 Neutron. I've got a Proton, and I also have, and actually this is kind of one of the reasons why I started this video in the first place. I just picked up several of the OTB drops. I've got the Prism Proton Crave, the OTB Champions Cup 2025 disc. So I've been kind of collecting these Craves over the winter because I had the plan to actually do this video and do the comparison. So as I get throwing these, I'm going to put up the plastics and the weights as well. The flight numbers on the Crave are 6.5, 5, -1, 1. One of the reasons why I want to do why don't I throw the Crave is because it's arguably one of the most popular discs in the world. It's something that everybody's always saying, oh, the Crave's a great disc, the Crave flies beautifully. So I'm going to find out today how it flies for me. Now I'm going to start off, I think, throwing it around 75%. I don't want to put a ton of power into it, mostly because I want to make sure that I'm throwing it straight and consistently, because that's really what I want to know is how does this fly when these different plastics fly when they're thrown pretty much the same. So if it cuts, you're probably going to see me run out and pick up a couple discs if I shank one or if I sky one, because really the value for you is seeing how this is going to fly when it's thrown correctly. So we're going to do that. All right, let's get started. I just came from my massage therapy appointment, so I'm all loose and limber. Okay, here we go. We're just gonna be throwing at that tree there. We're gonna start with the Total Eclipse MVP Circuit Series disc. Just put this flat with a little bit of power. Okay, I had a bit of anhyzer on it. Great flight. I'm not too worried about distance. That didn't go very far, obviously, but I'm not too worried about distance right now. I just want to see how these fly, if there's any big difference. Little low, but still held that anhyzer line. I put it on a little bit of anhyzer. All right, Fission. See if we can get these up off the ground here. That's better. Nice little turn. A lot of glide. That stayed in the air a long time. All right, Neutron. Wow, so much glide. Again, very similar shape to that. Again, I'm probably putting a little bit of anhyzer on this. R2. Nice, very nice. That one I think went to ground a bit quicker. Probably my release, probably a little bit everything, but I feel like the Fission and the Neutron had a little bit more glide. All right, Proton. I got that up in the air a bit, but you can see it's still turning. Right on. A little bit low, and I put a little too much anhyzer on that. So first impressions, they all fly pretty well the same. I think the Fission and the Neutron might have a little bit more glide, which is weird because that R2 Neutron kind of wanted to drop. Again, nose angle, little corrections in the way I'm throwing might make those changes. Let's go down. We'll give one more throw from this direction, just a nice 75% backhand. We'll try to get nice consistent release on all these. I mean, not the greatest consistency in throws, and I know I said I wasn't that interested in the distance, but it should be noted that between the ones that I threw low, they landed at about 185 to 190 feet, and the ones that stayed in the air, the ones that we got the full flight out of, those ended up at 295 yards, so 285 feet. We got a ton of distance on those ones, so there's a great variation depending on, and it looked like they were pretty close. I mean, not bad. I mean, again, this is the bane of all, amateur YouTubers is getting consistent throws out. So let's get another throw on them. There we go. Much better. Really easy throw. Didn't feel like I put a ton of power into that. That was good. And that's, I think, exactly how people envision the Crave flies, right? All right, let's try another one here. The Eclipse. Yeah. Beautiful. Wow. Yeah, why don't I throw a Crave? What's going on? All right. I can't remember the order I did them in. We're going to try the R2 next. R2, try and increase the power. Ah, threw that in the dirt again. Let's try that again. That's not right. Okay, let's try that again. Okay, overcompensated, but again, beautiful flight. So pretty. All right, Fission, you're up. Didn't come out of my fingers particularly well, so not a lot of power. But again, that beautiful flight, that nice little turnover. Neutron. So pretty. I missed my line, but again, almost exactly the same flight. These are all flying remarkably the same. I'm kind of flabbergasted considering how much of a difference there was in the Innova plastics. Proton. A little bit more Anheuser, I think, than the others, and a little low, that's okay. It's still got that turn, still got that reliable turn. Last but not least, this gorgeous Champions Cup disc. Again, too much Anheuser. Too much Anheuser, but it certainly held it. It didn't want to fight out at all. All right, let's go down and have a quick chat about them. So I'm hoping that you watched my in the bag video that I just posted yesterday, I think. Yeah, so just a little while ago. And you can see that when I'm looking to build my bag, I'm building out specific shots. So the question is this a shot shape that I don't already have in there? And right off the bat, I'm thinking, okay, I've got the river that does very much that, maybe a little bit more length to it. The detour, so this would probably fit right between the river and the detour in my bag. The question is, do I want to carry that many discs in my bag? Okay, where are we here? So I have to say, I'm a little bit surprised. I figured that the plastics would have made a huge difference. If you watched my video on the Dimension and the Defy, I think I can't remember which one of those was the super overstable disc. And in the Fission plastic, it was super understable. Like, it was actually throwable for someone like me, which I was flabbergasted. But these ones all seem to fly pretty much the same, and that could be the amount of power I'm putting on it. So I'm just going to let's power up. Let's try to put a crank on these. We'll try to get them to hyzer flip up. I can't guarantee these are all going to be beautiful throws, but we're gonna put some power into them and crank it up and see what we can see if we can get them to hyzer flip for us. Yeah, definitely flipped up. I mean, a little bit of an early release, but it definitely got a hyzer flip on it. Let's see if we can get this one up in the air a bit. Much better. Still super stable. All right, I think this is where we're going to start to see the difference. R2 neutron, you're next. Oh, flipped up much better. That absolutely flipped up a ton better. Vision. Let's try that one again. Let's try to hyzer flip this at a reasonable height. On some power. Yeah, absolutely. Very nice. All right, neutron. Oh, maybe a bit more stable than the fission for sure. Proton. Now I've heard proton is more stable, more overstable. Let's find out. Oh, that flipped up and turned. Wow. That's a crush. Okay. I said it before, I'll say it again. I know I'm not that concerned about distance with this video, but I'm definitely going to get a rangefinder on that. All right. Last but not least, prism proton. Oh, flipped up and turned just like the prism. Gorgeous. All right, so if I'm drawing conclusions from this, the eclipse and the total eclipse are definitely more overstable. And I think that bears out. MVP published a lab report a while back talking about how overstable the eclipse was. But I think really the proton was much more understable even than the fission, which blew my mind. What I'll do is while I'm cutting this, I'll stop the video once we see the angle the disc is coming out. So you can kind of use that to compare and get an idea. And we definitely got quite a bit more distance on them. So if I am asking myself the question, why don't I bag a Crave? Yeah, why don't I bag a Crave? I think I'm going to put one of these proton ones in the bag and just try to find a slot for it right now. Again, like I said, I've got the River and I've got the Detour in there. This could fit really nicely understable between the two of them. And the protons ones seem to really want to flip up. You know what? There's a bit of a headwind here. Let's fire back at the bag and into a bit of a headwind. See if that makes a big difference. Okay, so I wasn't really planning on this, but we're gonna do it anyways because I get to run the show here. It's a little bit squishy out here, so we're gonna try to put a hurt on these. I think we're gonna do the same thing, but we got just a whisper of a headwind and see if that makes a bit of a difference, particularly with these eclipse ones. We're just gonna fire right back at the bag. I've set myself up about 200 or 345 feet away, so we shouldn't have any problem. Not gonna get there for sure. We're not gonna get there. All right, a little bit of power, a little bit of hyzer. Oh, a bit of a lift. Still very stable though. Still very, very stable. All right, regular eclipse. A little bit of a flip up, super stable though, so still super stable. R2. Oh my goodness, flipped up beautifully. Wow. Wait, what? No. We're going to have to check that. No, there's no way. Neutron. Oh, bad release. Certainly flipped up. Oh my God, look at it go. Okay, I'm going to have to, I don't have any frame of reference here, so I'm going to have to UDIS the distances on those. That's crazy. Okay, vision. Oh, again, it didn't come out beautiful. Perfectly straight flight though. Flies a lot like the Eagle L without having to flip up. All right, proton. Nice flip up, nice dead straight. Oh my God, look at that. Okay, that one is definitely short of the bag quite a bit. All right, last but not least, Prism Proton. Okay, I put a real hurt on that one. Look at it go. Wow. Okay, that's I'm flabbergasted. All right, let's see if we can't get some numbers on those. I really was not planning to make this into a distance video, but apparently the Crave has other plans. So I'm a little shaken by that, actually. You know, I really just set out to kind of look at the plastic. So let's finish that. Okay, so the plastics themselves, obviously there is differences in the plastic, but I think really the big differences start to appear when you really power up on it. So we saw that with the fissions. The Eclipse plastics were still much more overstable, and the protons were understable when throwing down towards the trees there. On the way back, however, all bets were off. And now I will say this, I misjudged the wind. It's actually kind of coming across back like this. So those big throws had a bit of a tailwind, and the Prism Proton disc was a 157 grams, so a little bit lighter. But that neutron one, I'm flabbergasted. So from plastic comparison standpoint, absolutely, I would probably bag the Proton or the Prism Proton for sure, particularly because of the weight of the Prism Proton. Again, like I say, I'm throwing stuff that's a little bit lighter. But what is this? I mean, how does this change my opinion on distance? Like, at the end of the day, this is going to change how I kind of think about distance and what I can achieve when warmed up and when I'm really knuckling down and when I'm really concentrating on things. Is the Crave going to make my bag? Yeah, I think so, absolutely. I might actually pull the River out and put the Crave in, just because I think, number one, I don't want to lose that gorgeous River. That Sheet Iser disc was incredible. But I think that I want to fart around with trying to get the Crave worked into my bag, either the Proton or the Prism Proton. The distance on that neutron, yeah, that's some kind of aberration. I don't know what happened there. I can't explain it aside from that, because that one was, that disc is 169 grams. Good weight for me, for sure, for distance discs. And again, there was a little bit of a crosswind, so it definitely turned over. It definitely, and it held that line. So I'm going to go home and think long and hard about what I'm doing here. Well, at any rate, hey, thanks for joining me on this journey. We definitely had it was definitely a journey today, for sure. It did not turn out at all like I expected it was going to. I was just going to come out and see the fission turn over and see the Eclipse be overstable, and we got so much more out of it today than just that. So thanks for joining me here today. Thanks for being with me and experiencing this with me, and I'll see you all beardos next time on Graybeard Disc Golf. Oh, and don't forget to do some putting. I'm going to go home and do some putting, I think, and think about my choices. Oh my goodness.